All right, I conducted a research project for my senior project this year. As you can see, the whole theme of my project was the reasoning and effectiveness of using emotional appeal in advertising. I'd like to start out with a quote by Jean Cavorn. She's an author, a filmmaker, a speaker, and who internationally is recognized for her work in imaging women in advertising. I don't know if you're aware of TED Talks, but she has done multiple TED Talks. She's very, very wise. And she says that ads sell more than products. They sell value. They sell images. They sell concepts of love and sexuality, of success, and perhaps most importantly, of normalcy. To a great extent, they tell us who we are and who we should be. So today we're going to be talking about the power of emotional appeal and the power of advertising that has over our daily lives in such a media-infected culture. First, I'd like to start off just with a little bit of background just for educational purposes. Emotional appeal is a method of persuasion that is designed to create an emotional response. It's also known as emotion or pathos or suffering. These are one of the three modes of persuasions identified by this guy right here, Aristotle. The other two are logos or logic and ethos, or other known as authority. These are also, emotional appeals are actually considered to be fallacies, and this is because they're errors in reasoning. The reason behind that is because they manipulate emotions in the audience. So when you're watching a scary movie, scary advertisement, or an emotional, sad chick flick or some love story, you know that it's fake. However, because of the fallacy, it manipulates your error of reasoning to make your mind think that it's real, to make you feel the emotions that is exhibiting in the image that you're watching. So emotional appeals are especially prevalent in advertising. Just a few. I don't know if any of you have seen the Budweiser commercials with the dogs or the horses. But notice, just take special notice to all of these pictures are dark. They're gloomy. They're very sad. They're not happy, as you can see. Emotional appeal is used in such ads, such as showing like animal cruelty or anti-bullying or like feed the children, things like that, to make us feel bad and feel sad enough that we can help the cause. This is used many, many times in nonprofit organizations. This is their key to success in their donators. Or we can also think about students and how they always use emotional appeal to say, can you please, 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 please just let me extend time on a paper or something like that. So we use these every day, just not in advertising, but more than you think. So using metaphors and similes or anecdotes or things like short stories is a common way that marketers or organizations like to use emotional appeal. They have a fear and love concept. To generalize it as much as we can, there's either a fear way of advertising, meaning that you have a certain image that tells a scary story, or a metaphorical image that is supposed to represent something else to kind of scare you, to make you pay attention to what they're doing. Or they do love, whether they have like a family setting or something that you can relate to. Advertisers use images to evoke feelings of fear and love from the advertiser to increase likeliness of the product, idea, or the purpose. So for example, like I said, these Budweiser's commercials, the fear in this would be the dark, the gloomy, it's raining, it feels like he's kind of lost, he's in a box, he doesn't know where he is. That would be the fear. But the love part is that it's a puppy. You can't, it's cute, it's lovely, you feel bad for it because that's something that most people like. So into the research part of my focus group, as I said, the reasoning and effectiveness of using emotional appeal in advertising. The research method that I chose to conduct my study was in a focus group. My focus group included 9 Bluefield College students who graciously volunteered with the added benefit that Dr. Bascom gave him extra credit. So there's always an added bonus in that. The participants were asked to view 3 advertisements. Some of them well known, some of them may not. One of them was a short, they also were given a short survey to kind of have some written and documented feedback from what, just to make them feel comfortable. I ended up giving them the survey after one short commercial or advertisement, just to get them a little bit more of a comfortable feel. I didn't want to come right out and say, okay, talk in front of the entire group what you think about this, because sometimes people need to get more comfortable in a comfortable setting in order to really be true and have and express internal validity, to make sure that the results I was getting were true and factual. So one of the ads were regarding animal cruelty. The other two were regarding cigarette smoking. The cigarette smoking commercials were divided by positive, emotional, and logical appeal and advertisement. So one was more emotional set with more fear, and the other was more logical, positive, emotional. However, they were both regarding cigarette smoking. I thought that this would really give, if you had the same theme, you're talking about the same thing. This really focused on which was which and which worked better, even if it's, it had the same theme. So I'd like to show you this is exactly what I showed them. Oh no. In the focus group, maybe not. Okay, well, how many of you have seen the ASPCA commercial? Where they have the sad music, they have like Sarah McLachlan come on, all the animals are usually in cages, very sad. Throughout, you can notice that the images are very dark. The music is very slow tempoed. It's very somber. It's not happy. It's not exciting. This is, again, to get the feel. This is what emotional appeal is. It gets the feel and the sadness. So after showing this to my focus group, most agreed it was saddening to watch because, most agreed that this was saddening to watch. Most participants agreed unanimously that because they have seen this multiple times, they've become desensitized from it. And what desensitization is it makes someone less likely to feel shock or stress at the sense of cruelty, violence, suffering, or by exposure to such images. So a few of them, you'll see later, I put in a few quotes. I didn't want to use a video just because, again, it was that comfortable, but all of the results were recorded by voice recorder, and so there are a few quotes that you'll see in later. But they felt that other characteristics that brought it up, like I said, were the lighting. Everything was very dark. The music was very somber. It was very slow. It's all about the mood and the tone set up for this. Like I said, one participant said that I've seen this too many times. It's sad, but I'm used to it. I got that from a lot. That was a lot of feedback. And another participant said seeing the same commercial over and over again is obviously repetitive, and it becomes the norm. Oftentimes, this is how desensitization comes. I've learned, and just through this group, that the norm is becoming more, even outside, we see news of shootings and everything, and it's just doesn't rile us up like it usually is, because we see these and we become desensitized from it, because it becomes a norm because it's so repetitive. The same with advertising and emotional appeal. The next ads were the cigarette smoking ads. For purpose of time, I won't view them, but if you've seen this, you just said something dangerous coming. They're in a science lab. Again, it's very dark images. It's very somber. Very monotone speaking. This thing pops up, and at the very end, it crawls into a cigarette box, and that is where I'm using the manipulative, emotional appeal to kind of like that fear factor that we were talking about before, fear and love. It uses a metaphor that this is the cigarette. This is what it's doing to your body. I think it says, if cigarettes looked as bad as they were, you wouldn't touch them. So there's that fear. The second one was more of a statistical, upbeat. The music was very bright, as you can see from just this still shot of very nasty, gross, and somber, and then bright colors, very, very upbeat and positive. This was probably their favorite commercial, the focus group. I learned that a couple of them were saying, I was watching them, and a couple of them were nodding their heads to the music because it was really upbeat, and like they were just, they were just really getting into it, and they paid more close attention because they enjoyed it more. The positivity and the mood and the music and the tone and the colors affected them inside emotionally as well. But the added bonus was that this commercial added statistics. It gave percentages of, hey, this was the smoking percentages around the world in like 2012, 2014. Together we did this. So that's, it's more positive reinforcement. So like I said, this is more of the, this is not really the fear, more of the love yourself, love everybody, together we can type deal. Let's see. For the results, I figured out that emotional appeal in advertising engages emotions within a person and can conceive a person to care about an issue, a cause, or an object that they never even knew that they cared about before. Not even necessarily that they care about it now, but in that moment while they're watching, while the emotional appeal is taking over, they decide to care about it because the emotional appeal is doing its job, what it's supposed to be doing. The participants agreed that the use of emotional appeal and to tell stories that relate to them personally, it became more interested in the rest of the ad. They became more interested in what the rest of the ad needed to say because they could relate. They had a relationship, regardless if it was an ad or with a person. They could relate to it, and it made them want to listen more and get more involved in the organization or whatever the cause was. In this case, it would be smoking. Together, we can type thing. Emotional appeal is effective because, like I said, emotions generate. They start like with the music, the bobbing of the head, the smiles, getting into it. It generates these emotions within a person to, again, cause a caring relationship for whatever cause it may be. In conclusion, I found out through the research and through the group of 9 students that emotion is based on advertising communications through design, color, motion, tone, stage setting. There's so many characteristics that go into this that people don't really realize until you dig down and really look into why emotional appeals are so effective. It's because of these characteristics that we found that were discussed by the focus group that I had. So like I said, design, color, motion, those bright colors versus the dull, nasty colors, the somber music versus the upbeat, happy music. And I also, like I said, with the statistics in the second cigarette commercial, we found that while the rational emotional advertising acts on logical relationships. So like I said, together we can. It's more of like a logic relationship to get people together, and it gives reason. Okay, this is logic because you see the percentages and you see the graphs. This has to be true because we as humans are very visual. We like to have proof, and so it helps to see that in commercials and things like that as well. The focus group was affected more by the positive, more upbeat, like I said, that type thing, rather than the negative. The negative, like I said, that they were very sensitized. It may have been just the commercial that I chose, the ASPCA commercial, but as well as that was kind of manipulated because I knew that it was very popular. So I wanted to see if the desensitization was real and if it really had an effect. But like I said, the visually seeing the positive statistics or graphs, the persuasion has greater effect than the negative. That was unanimously around my focus group of 9. Everybody agreed on it. It kind of made my job a little bit easier, but it was across the board. Everybody enjoyed it more. When they use emotional appeal to tell a story, people get more into it. They care a little bit more. And then advertisers can achieve the success in both rational and emotional appeal. The challenge that most marketers, advertisers, nonprofit organizations, businesses, big corporate businesses, or small local businesses, the challenge that they have is to know which is right for your project, your cause, your product. which way to go. Should you go the statistical route? Like the cigarette smoking, they're the same thing, but for that certain advertisement, they decided to go with more positive, upbeat, let's show statistics instead of scaring somebody. Because a couple of them, the students, they didn't even they kind of cringed. I watched their body language, and when that thing crawled out, they were like, oh, I don't want to watch that because it kind of freaks them out. So the challenge for most advertisers and the purpose of this whole research project that I wanted to kind of get across was, why does emotional appeal affect us so greatly, and what characteristics as well have input and decide on what is what. And hopefully that this will help, if it gets out, that this will help organizations really understand which emotional appeal, whether logic, whether emotional, whether positive, whether negative, works best for their program, their cause, or their organization. So.
Do we have any questions for Amber?